Hey, 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 everyone. Welcome to a bonus round of our quarantine concerts. We wrapped up the series yesterday with number 50. This is 50A.
We just had to do one more.
Everybody's been so great about supporting the quarantine concert that we figured you deserved a little treat. So if you are just tuning in for the first time, or you've been watching this whole year since April 4th, 2020, you already know that the Fur Peace Ranch Quarantine Concert Series is brought to you by Yorma's Choice, the only choice in CBD products. If you're interested, they're available in the gallery or on our company store online at furpeaceranch.com. I want to give a special thank you to my unbelievable crew.
Here, here.
Here, here.
I cannot tell you what it's like to work with this crew. First of all, they volunteered their time for every quarantine concert starting April 4th, 2020. And we did it really in isolation, and everybody, came in their own door in the theater, and we were masked and gloved and, hand sanitizer, the whole bit. We followed every protocol that we could think of. And so the original crew, we showed the very first show that we did April 4th last night was me, Myron, Izzy, Yorma, and Andy. That's all that was there. And over time, we had people come in. So we have 3 additional camera operators. Mike has actually worked for us before, but so a round of applause for the new crew. Rusty Smith from WOUB, who did all of our Quarantine Vault series, and he does all of our regular Live from the Fur Peace Ranch shows, which air on WOUB on Friday nights at 7, and again, I think at 11 on Saturday nights. So it was Rusty's idea all these years ago that we, started
Man's
doing
a genius.
this. He actually came to Yorma and said he wanted to do a radio show, and I thought he wanted Yorma to spin vinyl over at the WOUB. I didn't know what he meant. And our first show was done in our workshop, 78 seats. But if you're not a fire marshal, I got 90 in there on most shows. We would run the wires out of the little soundboard. We had a remote truck for a while, but then that didn't work for whatever reason. We ran the wires into one of the cabins, and I'm going to out you, Rusty.
He took a nap, I saw
He'd
it.
lay back on one of the twin beds, and the board would be on the other bed. But that's how our show started.
He was so relaxed.
And really, we owe the stream to Andy Walla. It was Andy's idea.
Andy.
And she's just amazing. So we are blessed, and those of you that asked what you could do for the crew because they were volunteering their time, this concert will probably be the last concert where we run the 2 addresses for PayPal and Venmo across the screen. We're not even sure when this is going to air. Probably this is May 30th, maybe 3 weeks from now. So we'll see. But we want to thank everybody. And of course, Jack for driving in all the way from LA in his RV, not once, but twice, 3 times. 3 times. So he came in July, went back home, came back in November when we did the electric hot tuna. And after he got vaccinated, because we were operating unvaxxed, got vaccinated and he came in this time. And to John Hurlbut, who graced the stage with Yorma, and we ended up with an unbelievable project out of it called The River Flows, which is available in the company store. Volume 2 comes out July 15th with some bonus tracks, so we're really excited about that. So we want to thank everybody for your continued support. I know all of the emails and calls and all the people that came today stopped and said thank you really for what you did. Thank you for watching, because you gave us a reason to, really, I thought about just calling it a day because live venues were cut off at the knees. So you gave us this amazing reason every week to do hopefully something different. So thank you. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your continued support of the Fur Peace Ranch. And with that, I give you hot tuna.
Well said, Vanessa. Yes, I heard that. Well said. Yeah, and if nothing else, that I was just thinking about it, it's hard to put it into words without sounding sappy, but this whole quarantine thing with what we've all been doing, you've been a part of, has created sort of an extended family that I could never have imagined in another way, so thanks for that. Yay. All right. Now, Jack, are you going to trust me to start with the song that's on the list?
I'm ready for whatever you do. I'm watching you like a hawk.
Well, just eat wine and boil. Well, don't deny my name. Wine and boil. Well, don't deny my name. Not my name. Wine and boil. Don't deny my name. Can't pick it up and shake it like sweet stave and chain. Wine and boil, Lord, I don't deny my name. Well, mama, take a look at it. Mama, take a look at it. Little, mama, take a look at sis. Well, she's out there on that levee doing that double twist. Wine and boil, well, don't deny my name. Well, sister, she's a dirty little sow. Little sister, dirty little sow, I said, little sow. Oh, sister, dirty little sow, you know she wanna be a bad girl, but she don't know how yet. And wine and boy, don't deny my name. up that wall. Whoa, spider, climbing up that wall, up that wall. Spider climbing up that wall, wanna get up to the top just to have her ashes home. Whining boy, well, don't deny my name. Jersey, whining boy, don't deny my name. Whining boy, don't deny my name, deny my name. Whining boy, don't deny my name. You pick it up and shake it like sweet stay band chain. Whining boy, Lord, I don't deny my name. Wow. 1 minute it was gray. It's a miracle.
I wore my I knew because I brought my shades, it was going to get sunny.
Where are they?
I don't know. They're in the back somewhere.
They're in the back. All right. Well, I'm gonna.
So we have a
Yes.
question.
Where did the sun come from?
Yeah. Those folks from New York brought it with them. That's what they're
Oh
claiming.
my! Yay!
So this is a question that we've had people ask it before, and we've always kind of skipped over it. So whoever
today-
asked, lucky you. They want to know how Will Scarlett came into your life.
So that's a good question. Will is a really interesting artist.
For the people that don't know who Will Scarlett is, explain who Will Scarlett is.
He's a harmonica player that played on our first album, but he's like a Berkeley fixture and still is, Berkeley, California, that is. And so he was a friend of this buddy of mine, Steve Manns. And so when Jack and I were getting ready to do the first Live at New Orleans House Hot Tuna record, Steve dropped by my house and he brought Will with him. And at the time, I had just written a new song for the morning. We're fooling around. Will played harmonica. Now, to back up a minute, for those of you that are familiar with blues harmonica players, most straight blues players play cross harp, which means that they're breathing in for most of the notes, and they have a different harp for every key. Not Will. Will had one harp that he made himself, including casting all the parts, made the reeds, the stuff, and because there was some sort of a lack of confluence with the ley lines that surrounded wherever he lived, he didn't like to tune to 440s. I think he tuned to like, 438 or something like that, which was always a little interesting because you had to tune to him. So here's Will with this harp where he made every part of it himself, used one harp to play all the keys by bending notes, et cetera, et cetera. So we played. I've told the guys I just wrote the song, played him the song. Will played along with it. Wow, it sounded fantastic. We're gonna make an album. why don't you stop by? You live in Berkeley, you live right up the street. Stop by New Orleans House and play the song with us. So
The
we
song.
recorded for 3 days, as I recall. I can fill in any blanks that I leave here. And but when we went, we set up, we did the sound check. We'll rehearse the song. Terrific. And so when we started to play, Will got on the stage at the beginning of the first song and didn't leave the stage for the next 3 nights.
Exactly.
And so, because of the way we did things back then, he became a de facto member of the band for a while.
Yeah. And that's old school hootenanny right there.
Yeah, well, it's like when they brought Papa John up from L.A. We were playing Winterland that night. I think it was the night that Janice died, and Marty and Joey brought Papa John up. Hey, it's Papa John. He plays fiddle. Can he sit in? Of course. He sat in and was in the band for the next couple of years. So that's just the way we did things back then. So that's Will. Will is still around. He's still he no longer makes his own harps, but he's a really interesting guy. And in the world of harmonica players, nobody plays quite like him. Really interesting stuff. How's that for an answer, Vanessa?
That's great.
Oh,
Now, because of what I do for you and the history with all of that, he was not legally part of the band.
No.
So, no.
that's another ball game.
That's enough. That's why we don't talk about this. But he kind of,
Yeah, when we talk
And
about being part of a band, that's another realm.
Yeah,
There's
so-
being part of a band, we have contracts, and then there's being part of a band. Those
Yeah.
are 2 different things.
So Yorma and Jack are and always will be hot tuna, and if one of them's not there, then it's
It wouldn't be the same
it's
without
the
you,
Yorma
buddy.
show, or if Yorma's not there, it's the Jack show.
That's right.
So there's never been any other official band members as part of the corporation.
Never has been, and
Never will be.
Never will be.
So we're gonna jump. But good question though.
Okay.
You see how thoughtful I was? I actually muted my guitar while I tuned it.
Don't forget to unmute.
I reminded myself because that sounds a lot different than that, right? Well, great change since I've been born. Great change, Lord, since I've been born. Great change since I've been born. Well, the great change since I've been born. Well, lies that I used to would tell, I don't tell no more. Lies I used to would tell, I said I don't tell no more. Lies I used to would tell, I don't tell no more. Well, there's a great change since I've been born. You know, things I used to would do, I don't do no more. Things that I used to would do, Lord, that I don't do no more. Things I used to would do, I don't do no more. It's been great change since I've been born. Well, great since I've been born. Great. Since I've been born. great change, Lord, and I've been born. Great change since I've been born. Well, it's been great since I've been. Thank you. Well, Mr. Cassidy,
Yes, sir. Pull out some of those mitts. Thanks.
I think I'll just check a little.
Turn the amp down. Yeah, buddy. That's better.
What's that, shop talk? Pull out some of those mids?
Cool. Well, you know, it's just getting plain warm.
I told you it was going to be a heat wave today.
Peel off one layer.
And ladies and gentlemen, the exotic dancer on our stage, the lovely Mr. John William Cassidy. You've still got more clothes on than an Arctic expedition. Good stuff. That barbecue king, he's coming to town with his shiny pants, Lord, I said, looks like a clown. Well, cook your barbecue any way you please. You know he's filling up your kettle with every pound of meat man can't squeeze. Well, that barbecue king, he's having fun. He's putting his taste, Lordy, on your barbecue bun. Cook your barbecue any way you please. Up your kettle with every pound of meat man can't squeeze. That barbecue king, He's got it made with diamond stick pen, Lordy knows it. Garlic pomade and cook your barbecue. Well, any way you please. You know he's filled up your kettle with every pound of meat man can squeeze. That barbecue king, he's coming to town with his shiny pants, Lord, look like a clown. Cook your barbecue, well, any way you please. You know he's filled up your kettle, baby, with every pound of meat a man can squeeze. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So Barbecue King was actually about a real person, yes?
Well, it's kind of about two real people. It's about our ex-manager, may he rest in peace. So many of these stories have the little corollary statement, may they rest in peace, as times march on. Anyway, Bill Thompson was one. Actually, both of the people in question, I believe, are no longer with us. And the other was a prize fighter named Larry Bad News Green, aptly named, we might add. And yeah, so Bill Thompson, he just wore all these odd clothes, as did Larry. And
Yeah, definitely odd.
Barbecue King, with him shiny pants, he looks like a clown. I would have said that to Bill's face, not Larry. That's another story altogether.
And Jack, were you roommates with Bill Thompson for a while?
Not exactly. I was with Marty. We had a place
Okay.
on Cole Street in the Panhandle. One of those San Francisco flats with a round rooms all the way up, all three flats. And it was the top flat where there's the room I had was in the back and had access to the roof. So in the summertime, whenever it was warm enough in San Francisco, and there's few days, then I'd have the roof access. Marty liked the round room because of the light, because he liked to paint.
Nice.
But they were all buddies. Marty, the Walking Owls, I believe, was
That was
the
Bill and
conglomerate
Gary
of-
Blackman.
Yeah, Gary Black, but of the guys that all went to school together, and that was Bill's crowd that went to school that met us. And
Hard
they
to
were all-
imagine any of those guys going to school.
Well, not very long. Quite. It's like Stony Brook, who graduated in 4 years, you know.
Yep.
So, Yorma, I have probably the best question ever. Never been asked, ever, at any one of our quarantine concerts.
Uh-oh.
And all the Athenians here, if you are of a certain age, you're gonna love
What's
this.
that supposed to mean?
Well, you'll know when I
Okay,
ask
okay.
the
Lay it
question.
on me.
Because Izzy wouldn't know who this is. Yorma, what is your connection to the Bogus Brothers?
All right, so Mark Markham and the Bogus Brothers, Laddie, the whole gang. So I met Mark in South Florida, along with a bunch of other nefarious characters, in early '65, and I met Rocky and Big John before them. They were in the agricultural import business.
Yes, be
back
careful.
then. I know that. Well, we're in Meigs County. Everybody knows what we're talking about here.
That's okay. You don't have to spell it out.
Well, hey, this ain't the 1990s anymore. It's the 2000s. We're
Okay.
okay now. Yeah, so anyway, so I met those guys in South Florida. We all became friends and this and that and the other thing. And so when one of the guys sold this piece of property we're on here, of course, because Markham's family is deeply ingrained in this area, we've just been kind of friends ever since. And since we're going to Florida, I kind of expect to see him show up. But the Bogus Brothers, I remember I sat in with them at the Union when we first moved here. And I remember I was still beveraging back in those days, and I went up to the bar at the Union, and I asked the bartender, "Could I have a Remy, please?" And he said, "How about a shot of Jack?" That's how that one went. Did that answer that question on any level whatsoever?
So, well, yes, but you actually covered one of
Oh, yes,
Markham's
yes.
songs.
If this is love, I want my... Yeah, he was such a romantic, really, you know.
If this is love, I want my money back.
Yeah.
That was the name of the song. And
Yeah, great lines. "You take the warmth, I'll cut logs." Good one, Mark. He's such a romantic, really. Yeah.
but Mark was famous for saying on stage, and he did it when you played with him. He'd yell out to the audience, "Now remember, the drunker you get, the better we sound."
We've been saying that for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't forget to tip your waitress. I know, all that bar stuff, yeah. We don't get to run those riffs when you're doing performing arts centers anymore. Like,
You know, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay
yeah,
here.
all that
of
stuff,
those.
yeah. I remember me and Jack working the Rendezvous when we had fake IDs that said we were 18. We looked like we were about 12. And I remember those waitresses looked mighty fetching back in those days.
But they were older women.
They were older women. They were probably all of 21 or 22.
Exactly. Now, we were opening up then at nighttime, Friday and Saturday, and Sunday afternoon show to people
Oh,
like...
right, the brunch, the afternoon show,
That's
yeah.
right. And this was just a window stage. And I remember the Sunday afternoon magic went away with the stained glass and this, watermarks and all of that out in the brutal sunlight.
When he says stained glass, he doesn't mean,
Stained.
He means stained glass.
And we were opening up to Link Ray at the time.
That's right, Link Ray and the Raymen. That's
Yeah,
right.
That's right. And also there was another
Rumble.
band there. I can't do the bass part. I used to play guitar. But anyway.
Yeah, he was the guitar player back
the
then. I
Go-
just played rhythm
The
guitar.
Go Boys it was famous because it's had Gene Vincent's guitar player in it, things like that. So that was big stuff for us who were pretty deep into that rockabilly stuff at the time. You know?
Was that your band, The Triumphs, or before The Triumphs?
Well, it was during. That was it. Yeah, that was our
Yeah.
band, The Triumphs. You know,
We could have been somebody.
Yeah, things are so well organized today.
Thank you
I
very
don't-
much.
Yes, exactly. Back then, we put our band together, and whoever had gasoline in a car, that was the transportation.
Or the necessary instrument. We need a bass player. Who do we know has got a bass?
So it was true beginnings of that sort of thing. And of course, we came from Northwest Washington, and we were breaking out of our norm and our family life into this other world. That was very mysterious and
To say the
fetching.
least.
And you go back into high school next morning, and you're with kids. And at nighttime you were with adults.
So, well, tell the good people some of the people we opened for back in those days.
Well, we did a series of shows with Milt Grant, but Ronnie McDonald, who was our drummer at the time, and
He knew everybody in town.
He knew everybody, and we got different gigs. So I remember we played in an armory that Ray Charles was at. We backed up Jimmy Clanton. In the days,
Just
these
a
days,
dream, just a dream.
and in those days, those singers that were produced, they didn't have their own bands, and they'd come into town, and then there'd be a local musician, or they'd get the local musician together and word of mouth, But that's how I got to back up Little Anthony and the Imperials when I was 16. because one of the drummers I worked with that had worked with James Brown got me these gigs. So it just opened up a lot of doors. And Yorm and I opened for, I'll have to talk to Ronnie about this, but there's a bunch of other shows that he reminded me of that we played a lot more than I thought. I'll have to do some research here.
Well, there's one show before we actually play another song. One of the shows that I remember is that one where we had to back up Jimmy Clan. Back in those days, the big stars, they'd sing their hit at a show, and they needed somebody to back them up, and they figured they didn't have to pay us practically anything, so we got a lot of jobs. But we got that job down in Bluefield, West Virginia. I remember that. We drove on down, and we're doing, Jimmy Clanton had that hit, Just a Dream, and we were playing the song, and I remember looking out in the audience, and all of a sudden a brassiere flew through the air and hit the stage, and I
Now,
thought,
these are 1950 brassieres.
And I remember
they
thinking-
got some weight to them, I mean,
I'm
it isn't-
thinking I'm gonna love this gig.
This is these pointed 57 Cadillacs riding on stage like that, and
Good times. That was one where we got the speeding ticket in Warrenton, Virginia, where we had to leave one of the guitars and bail it out on the way home.
Yeah, the justice of the peace. You paid the ticket by driving through his yard, coming around the other side to the kitchen window, and he opened up the door, and you paid him the speeding ticket. We didn't
Good
have any
times.
money because we hadn't had the job yet. We were on the
But
way
we
to
had
the
an extra
job.
guitar.
So we had an extra guitar. We left him with a country gentleman.
That's
if I
right, a
remember
Gretsch Country
correctly.
Gentleman.
And-
White, as I recall. I believe it was a white Falcon, actually.
And no fool he knew we'd be back to pick up the guitar. And it was a hefty ticket at the time. I remember it ate up all of our funds, for the show.
Yeah, actually, my son, Zach, just got a speeding ticket at almost exactly the same place that he wound up having to spend a lot of money to get out of.
That's history for you.
Hey, it's my kid. What can I tell you? All right, good enough. So, are you ready for this one?
I am.
Are you going to trust me not to start it too fast?
Of course.
Of course not. All right, 2, 3. Well, in this world I'm living in, I see the line. Sins are gone, now I know what is wrong and right. Feeling us together and not pushing back the line. Good time, actually the line. Well, on this road I'm walking on, see my way. Paradise I'm living for, each and every day. Feeling us together, I'm pushing back at night. Good time, actually the line. Well, in the sea I'm moving through, feel my life complete. The one I'm living for, time is oh so sweet. Feeling us together, not pushing back the night. Good time, I see the light. Well, in this world I'm living in, see the light. Now I know what is wrong and right, and feeling us together, pushing back the night. Good time, I can see the light. Good time, I can see the light. Thank you.
Yeah, I hear you.
I know you do.
There's some sun out there. You can lay in the sun for a bit.
We could do. was well done, Jack. Extremely well.
Likewise, Norman. Likewise.
I started to listen to your bass part. I almost forgot what I was doing.
You're moving right to that.
Yeah, I think
okay.
so. I think so.
Okay.
We'll see how. Thank you. Much. Vanessa's chair is mysteriously empty. Goodness gracious, let me double check this, Mr. C. Let's do,
Sure.
yeah, the Roy song. So, I've told the story a million times, but I have a finite number of stories, so I'm going to tell it again. Anyway, so this next song, I heard Roy Bookbinder do it. I listened to it and went, man, what a great song. Where did you learn that song? I said. And he said, with a hurt look on his face, I wrote it. Wow. I'm going to learn it, so I did. I told him, man, that song's so good, it could be authentic, you know.
Pretty much. Roy's pretty authentic.
He is pretty darn. At our age, we're all pretty authentic, really, if you think about it. I remember back in the day thinking. Actually, I remember it was at Olam Poly, that Grateful Dead place up in Marin with the swimmers. You, me.
Yeah.
We're name dropping here. I understand that. Janice and Jerry. You probably never heard of them, but they were okay. They were something.
They were there.
And we're having this conversation about how long it would take for us to be authentic. And Jerry said, we're all going to be archetypes. I'll never forget that. Now, I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but that's what he said. That's my story. And since only Jack and I were there, I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking to it. We'll put him in the ground, 6 feet down. Do you hear that coffin sound? You can read, baby, you can moan. That old boy ain't never coming home. Another man done a full go round. Another man done a full go round. You can tell your tales, laugh and joke, ponder all day about the words she spoke. You can run, baby, you can hide. Death come up creeping by your side. Another man done a full go round. Another man done a full go round. No more worrying about this, fussing about that, letting in a dog or hide the cat. Eat your biscuits and gravy, you can smoke and drink, 'cause it don't make no matter what nobody thinks. Another man done a full go round. Another man done a full go round. Winter, summer, spring and fall, you got to go when the good Lord called. Made us laugh until we cried, but we never got a chance to say goodbye. Another man done a full go round. Another man done a full go round. Put him in the ground, 6 feet down. Do you hear that coffin sound? You can weep, baby, you can moan. That old boy ain't never coming home. Another man done a full go round. Another man done a full go round. you so much. You know, Jack, I think I'm going to move on to, since we're in the full go-round sort of mode, I think we're going to move on to another Man Done Gone. What do you think? We might come back.
And where's he gone down to?
Huh? What?
Where did he go down to? Another man gone down.
Another, well, down to the county farm,
That's
I
right.
think.
That's right.
But what did he have on? He had a long chain on, of course. And what did he do with it? No, we'll do the song. That's okay.
He dragged it behind him.
So, Yorma,
So,
question?
Vanessa, it's like a voice from, you're hidden behind the pillar.
I
but-
was eating a burrito. You have to go have one of these burritos. They're fantastic.
You know, Vanessa, you've gotten so slender in this pandemic thing that you're just hiding behind the, I can barely see you behind that 6x6.
How's this? Is that better?
You're so good.
So I'm going to try to paraphrase. We have. I'll save the other question about the motorcycle. This question from Chris Cloth, who showed up at 8 o'clock last night, and he missed the show by 3 hours, so I let him come today.
Better late than never, huh?
Sorry, you had that coming. So he
Yes.
wanted to know what was it, with all the musical influences out there, really for both of you, coming up, because you really established, how long ago it was you were playing and the people that you were playing with. But what was it about the Reverend Gary Davis?
Oh, for me, that's interesting. That's a good story. I guess when I went back to Antioch after my first co-op job in the early spring of 1960, I was in this off-campus house, and there's a bunch. Everybody, for some strange reason, everybody played an instrument of some sort, and this guy Ian Buchanan, may he rest in peace, was there. And at the time, I was just kind of like thrashing away on the guitar, and I couldn't even spell fingerpick back then. And for some reason, I've theorized that he just couldn't stand to listen to me. But for some reason, he was one of these guys, was one of Dave Van Ronk's contemporaries back in New York and stuff. For some reason, he took me under his wing and elected to show me what the deal was on the guitar. And I heard Ian play the Reverend's stuff. So I immediately went out and bought the two records that I listened to when I went back to the Philippines for the next 2 years. That's all I listened to. And one of the ones was on Riverside, was Reverend Gary Davis on one side, Pink Anderson on the other, and the other was one of the Inglewood or Ingleside, I forget. Anyway, the Rudy Van Gelder Studios. Harlem Street Singer, Say No to the Devil, Have More Faith in Jesus, and the instrumental album. In any case, I had the Harlem Street Singer, and he had played these songs, and I got that, and I listened to it, and I realized Reverend Gary Davis, we're going to geek out here for a minute, only played with the two fingers of his right hand. And so that sort of defined a lot of the way his rhythm figures went and such. But it seemed to me as I was getting into it, because Ian's muse was Lonnie Johnson. Lonnie Johnson was more of a jazz player. A lot of that stuff was over my head, but Ian played with three fingers and made more sense to me. Anyway, so there was just something about the biophile. He was just such a lover of life, such a biophile, the Reverend Davis, in spite of a lot of the hardships he went through. And that communicated itself to me. And the other thing was that to be able to play guitar in that style, you could go somewhere and play without having 5 friends, one of whom owned a van, which is kind of the way it was, or a station wagon in our day. Nobody had vans back then. And there was just something about it. I mean, to think of, sort of a non-observant Jewish kid from Southern Maryland who fell in love with a lot of this Baptist music just made sense. And interestingly enough, I'm not the only one. A lot of the guys, the denizens of New York City back then, we were all pretty much in the same boat. I remember talking to Bromberg about it one time and basically asking the question, what's the deal? And he said, with tongue in cheek, maybe it's slavery, but then we said, no, it's not that because of all the, anyway, a lot of stuff that goes along with that. But in any case, I don't know, there was just something about it. And then when I had that summer job in New York, and I got a chance to listen to the Reverend play, and a lot of those guys back then. Jack came up and visited me. I don't know, it was just such a vital scene. The music made sense. It just made sense to me in a way that that no other music really has before or since. So that was kind of the deal. I mean, we play all kinds of music, and time has marched on, but that window in time, you know, Jack and I were talking about this the other day. I never really tried to sound like anybody. I didn't have that talent, but I always believed that I was somebody, you know, and that was always important. But it always had to do with that music and that kind of stuff. And the Reverend Davis was just like, he was just the big dog. I mean, his stuff was so sophisticated and so interesting and all that kind of stuff. It just spoke to me in a kind of in the same way that that this David Flamand guitar spoke to me.
Yeah.
When I said, I need to have one of those. And I'm only half kidding about that either. But yeah, so it just made sense. It was just the deal.
So you were influenced then first before Jack, but Jack's bass playing really rounded out those songs. They became, even though they are Reverend Gary Davis songs, they became Hot Tuna tunes.
I'm going to weigh in quickly because Jack has a lot to say in this subject. That is so interesting. So I'm going to pretend Jack's not here, but I'm going to talk about him in the third person. Well, why not? What's he going to do? Shut me up? Hey, kill his mic, Myron. I don't want him talking right now. That is so interesting because you know, because the essence of a lot of this fingerstyle guitar stuff is you don't need anybody else. Jack has found a way to become, and I've adapted over the years also, but he's found a way to contribute to a style of instrumental music which inherently doesn't need any other players. Like you get two fingerstyle guitar players. Back in the day before we knew about this stuff, you get together with somebody, let's jam. It just always sounded horrible because you only needed one person to do this. So for him to find his way, it's so interesting and articulate, you know, that it just works. And I don't know why it works, but he does, and he's going to tell you in a minute. But in any case, yeah, it's fascinating. All right, Jack, speak up, lad.
It is interesting. Obviously, soon after Jorma reinvented himself as the fingerstyle guitarist, when we started doing constant hanging out during the early Airplane days, there was a lot of time to ourselves where we play this music. And I made myself a little amplifier out of a Halliburton case and to carry it around, but we'd work the music out because I love the music because like he said, if you're a guitarist, you play that music or something. You never heard two of them together any more than you very often hear two piano players together because it's full, complete music. But I listened to a lot of piano music, Jelly Roll Morton, a lot of Amos Milburn, where I'd listen to the function of the left hand and the right hand. And as I was playing guitar, I'd be playing single line work with that music in clubs. But when I moved over to the bass, and I worked in rhythm and blues for those early years. When I met back up with Jorma, I had some knowledge of a lot of different genres and places in music. But what I found was, all through that period of time that I used to visit him and listen to the Reverend Gary Davis and listen to the folk revival in the early 60s, I loved hearing solo performers play that music. It was so fascinating to me. But what I would hear is the lines, I just hear it as music. And so when I went to figure out how do I play a bass with this, when he's already got a bass going with his thumb, when he's already got leans going on it, I just started to conceptualize it more as my function as an orchestration rather than as the rhythm section in a traditional rhythm and blues band where you play licks with a drummer, you play a repetitive line, and a guitar would float over the top. So as I developed as a bass player and in the early days with the Airplane, I'd move up the neck and use that cello area up in here for melody. I was able to function when I could function in a way in the lower part of the neck that would release Jorma from the confines of having to hold that all together in a solo performance. And he could move up and do some things, single line things and combination note and interval work up the neck where he didn't have to count on that support in the low end because I could supply it. But conversely, when he would go down into the meat of the song and the chorus and the verses of the song, I could move up into other areas of the neck and add an orchestration to the piece without it being a bass part. Because if we both play the same thing all the time, it gets too heavy-handed. And the trick is how to get in there, but not have too big a footprint.
Nice.
Well said. Well said. Yeah, what he said. Good stuff, Jack. That's good stuff.
All right, and the other question, Jorma,
Yes.
what are you riding?
I am riding a 2016 CVO Breakout.
A Harley.
I am riding a Harley, yes.
Someone wanted to know.
My son is a Honda rider. I love him anyway. It's okay.
Your daughter wants a motorcycle, you know.
And I think she should have
And
one.
I think she should not.
What a dad. Now that's a dad.
Yeah.
Better a sister in a whorehouse than a brother on a...
Oh, geez, Jorma. Jesus.
Biker stuff, sorry.
WTF.
Yes, we did. Another man done gone. Another man done gone. Another man done gone down on the county farm. Had a long chain on. They set the dogs on him. They set the dogs on him. They set the dogs on him, they tore him limb from limb. Till the man done gone. They killed another man. Killed another man. They killed another man. Oh, they killed another man. Hey, another man done gone. another man done gone. Hey, another man done gone down on the county farm. He had a long chain on. Peeling off another layer, Jack. Yes, it's almost summer here.
Oh, it was a couple days ago.
Well, it could be again. Before you know it, we'll be in Florida. Get them Bermuda shorts on.
Yeah, are we doing outdoor shows in Florida?
Of course we are.
Yeah.
Of course we are.
The scene of one of our coldest ever concerts.
That is correct. Vinoy Park. Was that correct, Myron? Was it Vinoy Park? Yes. We were playing with Susan and Derek. We're opening a show for them. That was the good news because we only had to play about 45 minutes. It was in the 40s. That was pretty gosh.
Misty, if I remember correctly.
Nothing like Florida for a date, outdoor date, I always say.
Go ahead.
You down with this? We all want second chances. A chance of being free. A chance to take our measure here. See what we can be. Well, the dance isn't over till the last note has been played. We bow with thanks. We walk back home, see we've made. Well, the mirror shows the message. You can't deny the time. Whose tracks it makes across your face. Waiting for a sign. If chances were like highways, a map would bring you home. There'd never be a detour sign while you drive on alone. Well, chances are like crystal. They shatter when they fall. You cannot bend the hands of time. You'll never save them all. You juggle aspiration and balance it with pain. No matter how that drought drags on, there'll always come a rain. For life has been a highway. beneath tomorrow's sky. The winds of time will wash away the ache of old goodbyes. Our chances live in children. They'll grow beyond our reach. Mission turn from self to all. Our duty is to teach. Thank you so much. Pardon?
The cloud.
Yeah. It was blue a minute ago. Well, goodness. Vanessa's disappeared again. All right. Now. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, Jack,
Yeah?
I'm just gonna tune up here a little bit is what I'm gonna do. You good there, big fella?
Yeah.
Well, won't you come with me? We'll go running through the mountain just in time to set the morning free. Well, our hearts are young and strong. You're moving like an angel. We never seem to age in my dream. Well, I never took my time, took it all for granted. Gift of life is never what it seemed. Just run like we did then, like spirits in the morning. We never seem to age in my dream. Will these precious moments fly like pages in the wind, lined to a place beyond the stars? Memories fade with grace, cast away like rust, leave us who and who and what we are. Well, that morning shone like gold. I thought I'd live forever. Living well was way beyond my means. Breathe like fire, watch the dawn together. We never seem to age in my dream. This morning as I woke, and that midnight spell was broken, looked around with nothing left to need. The world around us turned, well, each passing moment, we never seem to age in our dream. We never seem to age in our. You never seem to age in my dream. Thank you. You know, Vanessa, before you say anything, yes, sweetheart, I wrote that song about us, yes, but as I was playing it, this Meigs County spider was hanging off this little piece of thread here, because I didn't want to break the mood, even though I could see him going up and down and up and down. The wheel of life turns.
That's what Wavy Gravy said about, we were at Camp Winter Rainbow and we were talking about life and death and the importance of life, and somebody said, well, what do you do?
No, he said, what would the Dalai Lama
What
do?
would the Dalai Lama do? Because there were mosquitoes all up at the Eel River where we were, and he said, wave it away once. Wave it away twice. Third time, circle of life.
And then Wavy, lovable wag that he was, that song about the Dalai Lama. Hello, Dalai. Dee-dee-dee-dee.
Yes.
This never gets old, does it?
No. So I just want
Yes.
to make a brief comment about, so your comment before the song was you know, like Yorma on the bus talk. He comes home from tour. I'm like, you're not on the bus anymore. You can't talk like that. But then you write a song like that. And you're like,
And there you have
I'm
it.
an
No.
eclectic fellow.
no, it's what I love about you. My life is not boring. It's all in the book.
Did you hear the one about,
Hey, jeez.
boy, it just never gets old, does it? Well, Mr. Cassidy,
Yeah.
I'm
do you
thinking
think?
here. Well, I'm thinking about going a little bit off script here.
Okay.
Let me just let me sip a little bit of this delicious. Couldn't find any Yorma's Rhythm Tonic tea, so I had to go for the green, but that's okay.
Green's good.
There's Genmei cha in the kitchen. You didn't,
If I could have found it, I would have used it.
it's right there.
It's right there in front of your nose. You know, it never stops, Your Honor. You know, really.
No, he couldn't find it the other day, and neither could Izzy. And I opened the drawer. I go, you mean this? Where was it? Like right here.
I've got important things in my mind.
I said, we don't hear so well, we don't
Like-
see so well.
like,
You
where
know,
are
it
my
goes with the
where are my
territory.
car keys? Where'd I leave my phone?
And thank goodness we don't smell so well. Okay, hit it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Jack. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm still. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Well, good. So let's do. Yeah,
You're taking
It's-
so long that Chester's asleep over there. You know? I mean,
I put your dog to sleep. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
look at it. He's just snoozing
Well, he's a hard-working dog, and he's had a tough day today. Really had. Okay, how about a little Uncle Sam blues?
How about that? There we go. Good idea. What do these kids know today about Uncle Sam pointing the finger at you at age 18, you know?
Hey, they still listen. When you still have to register for selective service when you're 18. My son did. They just don't have a draft now, but they know where to find him if they need
They
one.
know where to find it, you bet.
I still have several of my draft cards. Oh, yes, I do. I've got the 2S, the student deferment I had, and then I got the 1A they sent me 2 days after I graduated from college.
You got the 4 too.
Well, then I got the 4F one when they found me psychologically unfit, and I remember actually.
Francis T. Rigney.
You know, in a later time, they wouldn't. I was a little bit old, long in the tooth to be going in as cannon fodder back then. Anyway, but at a later time, they probably would have taken us all. But I remember when I went down to report for the draft, and they did all that stuff, and yeah, the shrink wrote all the stuff about what a disturbed fellow I was, and the recruiting sergeant said, because he had all my paperwork, because I had actually. Now here's something. I had a summer job with the American Embassy in the Philippines. I actually had top secret clearance. Think about that for a while. But anyway, so he looked at all this stuff and he said, "You'll never get another government job as long as you live." And I remember I looked him in the eye and I said, "Promise?" Because even though it's been a long time since I've had another job besides this one, thank God, I have worked in an office. I was a clerk typist. I was the only male figure in the typing pool. I'm done with that. It's pretty good. Okay.
I'm glad.
Well, got my question there, baby. You know I'm headed off for war. Question there, baby. You know I'm headed off for war. Gonna kill somebody for. Won't have to break no kind of law. Well, Uncle Sam ain't no one. You know it sure can take your man. Sam ain't a woman. Sure can't take your man. Lots of folks doing some ladies don't quite understand. Well, now I'm gonna do some fighting. Of that I can be sure. do some fine, babe, that it can be sure. Kill somebody, oh Lord, it won't have to break no kind of law. Well, got my question, baby. You know I'm headed off a wall. Well, question now, baby. You know I'm headed off a wall. Want to kill somebody on? Thank you so much. And so this is Memorial Day weekend, and I need to send a thank you out to our friend out in California, Paul, who for many years, all my dad and both my uncles were Second World War vets, been taking care of their graves in the cemetery. So thanks, Paul. And that's all I got to say about that.
Did you hear the rumbling? It was all the motorcycles out on 33 that are heading to Rolling Thunder.
No, Rolling Thunder's not happening anymore.
Well, they're still
going somewhere.
they're still going and
could
meeting.
Be the next county run, probably. Yeah.
There are a bunch of people that are going to DC.
Good.
Yeah.
I went one year.
I know.
A lot of
you did.
motorcycles there.
I know you did. Yeah, the
Yeah.
official thing is not happening, but there's a whole bunch of different bike
Good.
clubs. Yeah.
Well, heck, Ness,
Yeah.
what do you think?
I think it's been a really awesome show. This weekend has been. So this was Yorma's, the stage that you're looking at was Yorma's RV port. So when they realized that they couldn't go out on tour in a bus, and actually there were no shows to be had, we just started tossing around the idea of Yorma getting an RV, and I don't know, I was dead set against it. I'm like, no, forget it. And
I talked her into it.
He did. He talked me into it. And I just, you have to be careful when you say you're thinking about something, because this happened with the CBO Breakout motorcycle. It happened with his truck.
110 cubic inch Screaming Eagle, that's what I'm talking about.
Whatever. So
size does matter.
Yeah. So if you open the door, and you go, so, I was thinking about maybe a new truck. That's it. 24 hours later, Yorma's calling me from the dealer. Well, they got a great deal on. I'm like, oh my
Yeah, but the best
God.
part of that was, I always wanted a Cummins turbo diesel, now I've got one. But the best part of that was our lovely daughter. Come on, Mom, it's Dad's last hurrah. Let him get it.
That's exactly what she said.
That's
I'm
my
like,
girl.
What? Yeah, Yeah, but what Izzy doesn't know that it's hardly your last hurrah because I do see another truck in your future.
Could be.
Same thing with the bike. So the bike that I actually made him get was
She made me get an ultra classic, okay? I
because
knuckled
it
on her.
was a tank, and our daughter wanted to ride, and I said, if you're putting her on the back of that thing, I want a tank wrapped around her. A couple times she actually fell asleep on the back, which, but the whole thing
I was going to put a
wrapped around
bungee
her.
cord around her.
So he was ready to I don't know. I felt like the bike was really big, and Izzy was getting bigger and taller. She's tall for her age. And I said, oh, I don't know what it was. I thought I saw the picture of a motorcycle or something. I go, man, that's a sweet looking ride. Because I ride too. Down to the dealership he goes. So the RV, I go, well, I don't know. I don't. And then Jack and Yorma
thanks,
were
Jack.
working
Yeah.
on Deborah
well,
and I.
I said, well, I was considering, I moved up. I went, from carrying some little box behind towing, and then I moved into a new Suburban. I'll check the prices out on that, but I'd still have to carry like a trailer behind. And then we started looking into Class A, and then I saw the new 2021 with the new Ford V8 Godzilla engine 7.3.
Keep talking, Jack. I love this.
So we talked about that. He talked about, and the next thing I knew, next week he's showing me his new RV and what a great
We
deal
just
he got
went
on
to
it,
look. We just went to look.
So I think between 1 week's conversation, we both had RVs pretty
But
well
here's the
locked in.
deal. It's so insidious. So we go and we're going to do the Class B, which is like a truck with the big cap on it, whatever. And we went in,
We
and
went
I'm
to the C's, the
well,
B's,
I'm claustrophobic. So when
fifth
you
wheel.
get up to where the seats are, the driver's seat and the passenger seat, there's this big overhang. I go, I can't do this. And I look out the window and I see the Class A. I go, well, let's just go look at that. Just see what it looks like. So I can't completely blame him. But anyways, so it was we got it in August, and winter was coming. I'm like, well, you can't leave this thing out. So we built this. And he took it for his service.
I always wanted a covered bridge, and now I have one.
I know. He had to take it in for its first service.
Old
and
Appalachian tradition.
and I think it was it in November? We had like
Yeah.
a 3-day window.
Yeah, we got
something.
it at the
So
end of
I
it.
had Ron of Debron Fence came in. I said, and he built all of our fencing everywhere at the ranch. And I said, can you build this, RV port? And I kind of made a rough sketch. So we had this in for the winter. Yorma pulls it out. It's one of the first non-snowy days. He's going to take it up to Lancaster to get it serviced. And as he pulls out and he makes his way over to where the bus is, I come running. I'm standing there. I come running out. I go, stop! And he opens the window. He goes, what? I go, stage. And he looked at me. He goes, what? I go, we can do outdoor shows. He's like, we'll talk later. And he takes off. And here we are. And Smiles Welsh.
Yeah, Smiles Welsh he's a genius. You get a chance to look at the craftsmanship on this and the way this thing folds up with the crank. And
There's
stuff
a
is awesome.
marine crank on the left side that you can see that sticks out, and you literally crank it up. My idea was just to put a piece of plywood. I'm like, just put a floor in, and that's what happened with this. So yesterday was we did one stream a couple Wednesdays ago. It was the 90-degree
It
day.
was blistering hot. That's correct. Yes.
I didn't have an umbrella. My mic got so hot that I couldn't hold it. And then, of course, we did the show yesterday, and it poured, and it was cold. This was the perfect day. So it's the perfect day to really put a close. So what are we going to do after the quarantine concerts? This is the big reveal. I've told everybody what the reveal's going to be, and, of course, the rest of the world's not going to see this show for another couple weeks, but Yorma and I are going to do a podcast. So everything that we do on YouTube, you will still be able to go onto the Fur Peace Ranch YouTube channel. And do we have Seinfeld watchers? Did anybody watch Seinfeld? Remember the show was about everything and nothing? That's what the podcast is going to be. But with music, and actually I think Yorma's going to interview David Fleming, who's here with his lovely wife, Jenny, and
We're going to geek out about guitars. It's going to be unbelievable.
but I just want to tell you, David, if Yorma wants to spend 20 minutes talking about bacon, then that's what he's going to do, because it's his podcast. So that's what's going to happen with the audience. And so since the conversation, we've never done this before until last year, where I actually ask you questions and stuff, and it was a lot of fun for everybody
Yeah.
else. So that's the big reveal. You'll be able to see us on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, we're going to be doing. We got a bunch of stuff coming up. There'll be this. There'll be that.
Yep. So
But by the way, I must say, the pandemic has ruined my bacon intake, because since they stopped having the buffets at the Hampton Inn, they just don't think it's very frustrating. That's all I can say.
don't tell Yorma's rabbi that he eats bacon.
It's
But
kosher bacon. It's
Going
kosher
out
bacon.
to breakfast with Yorma.
Bacon is not pork.
As everybody knows, that's on the road with Yorma, and you have breakfast. He orders his, he'll order like at Casa. He'll order the tofu and the
By the way, locals,
potatoes.
the Casa bacon, for those that eat meat,
Yeah.
it's the best in town, Casa bacon.
But no matter where you are,
2 orders.
that's right, and that comes with bacon. I'll have an extra side of bacon. And the first time you went out on the road with Barry Mitterhoff during the Blue Country Heart record, you, Barry, and Sally were in Telluride, and the venue they provided a condo, and I called, you all had never toured before, and I called, Barry, how's it going? He goes, well, your husband just made a pound of bacon for everybody for breakfast.
Because I'm there for my friends. I cook.
For years, some of the best bacon we ever had was in San Francisco and Japantown at the hotel we stayed in, and then they stopped making it.
Yeah, they took the breakfast room out. Oh boy, there's a blues. They took the bacon out, baby. Anyhow,
Shall we?
Is this?
she tapped the watch. Yes, I know.
I didn't tap the watch. I just went like this.
Didn't we used to get that from Bill Graham? No, that was East Coast.
I don't.
So we are coming in for a landing indeed, and we have selected. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for coming out today, and
Thank you
it is our pleasure, as always.
I love the tour bus riding.
As the great American philosopher Roy Bookbinder would say about this lovely gig that we have, I get to play the guitar and talk about myself all night. I can't do that at home.
That's right. But thank you all so much again. And my crew, thank you, Andy, Rusty, Myron, John. We couldn't have done this without you. We wouldn't have wanted to do it without you. Izzy has been just as much as a part of the crew because she's been running the long shot camera, but Izzy got her work permit and she's working at Avalanche Pizza.
That's my girl.
And I told her,
And now we get the family discount.
yes. I told her she needs to see Mystic Pizza now. She really loves her job. And John, the locals that know John Gutekunst, it's a great group of people. The food is fantastic, and it's a great place for her to work. So she would have been here, but she likes
Thank
to
God
see
they
money in
doesn't
her
have
bank
table
account now.
service, or I'd have a weight problem probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Mr. Cassidy,
Yes, sir.
let's bring this baby in for a landing. Finish up with a sort of an apt song on a lot of levels. Reverend Davis's "Keep Your Lamps Trimmed and Burning." I don't believe this whole world is almost done, but that's how the song goes, okay? It's a metaphor. It's all right. It's going to be fine. People, why do you do such depressing songs? No. It's not like that at all. You got to look beyond the fleas. Well, now, mother, don't you stop a praying. Father said, keep right on praying. Don't you stop a praying, for this whole world is almost done. Keep your lamp trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning, for this world is almost done with. Sister, don't you stop a praying. Brother, keep right on praying. Don't you stop a praying, for this whole world is almost done. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning, for this whole world is almost done. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning, your lamps keep your lamps trimmed and burning, for this whole world is almost done. We'll keep our lamps trimmed and burning, keep our lamps trimmed and burning, for our race is almost run. you so much, folks.
Thank you.
The amazing, the wondrous, the effervescent Mr. Jack Cassidy.
The one, the only, Mr. Jorma Kalkinen.
Stay well, that's all I can say.